Hello, everybody, and welcome into a new series of mine. I guess welcome to Slayer's Lair for today. I'm using some old graphics, but we've got a new fresh face next to me. We're doing an interview series with some of the NACL players ahead of the Spring 2026 split, and I really want to do a focus on those up-and-coming players, your rookies and your sophomores, and we have a sophomore NACL player next to me in Sushee for NRG, the NRG AD carry. Sushee, thank you for joining me, for having this chat, and yeah, I'm glad to deep dive into your long career and talk about everything NRG coming up.
Of course. Thank you for calling me and for this interview.
Yeah, no worries. All right, well, so I kind of want to start like at the beginning, right? And we'll walk all the way through. So I think I'm sure you've been asked this question, not just like in interviews, but by like people maybe coming into your streams. But starting to play League of Legends, right? What was the like? I think the best way to ask that is like, what champion do you remember being released when you started playing League?
Oh,
Like, can you recall?
that's a great question. I remember I started playing in season 3. I was 6 years old at that time.
Wow.
And I'm pretty sure it was like, I think it was like either Zach or I think Zach, Nami, maybe like around these champions. I remember I was a really big Nami player at that time, so
there you go.
Yeah, I think Zach or Thresh. I think Thresh was also there too.
Yeah, so season 3. So those were still the days where you could occasionally have the champion like on the loading screen, right, when you logged in.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I started vividly when I started playing on a Mac laptop. By the way, it was just hilarious that you could play League on a Mac back then. You still can, but
I did this too.
Okay, so you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I know that, yeah.
It was Yasuo was the release champion when I played, because I distinctly remember on the login screen him like leaning on the sword. There was like the animated thing next to the login. So yeah,
these are so cool.
Yeah, I know. It's weird. We don't have that now because it's like you gotta go through the Riot client and then you boot up League. Yeah, it's good old-fashioned nostalgia. But hey, leaning a bit more into the nostalgia stuff, like, so you start playing League at like 6 years old.
I did.
That's wild. What was like the first introduction you had just to like gaming in general? Was it like a parent, a sibling, or did you just like stumble across like a web game? Like, I don't know. Like, I started with first game I played with Club Penguin on a website. Like, what was the early days of gaming in general for you as well?
So I would definitely say League was my first game, because like I was 6 years old. I wasn't.
Yeah.
I had difficulty talking at 6 years old. Like I wasn't playing that much at 6. I had my brother who is older than me by 6 years, and he used to play a lot of League, and I would just always watch him. And I also have that cousin of mine that would like show my brother how to play, and then my brother kind of showed me how to play. But keep in mind, like at 6 years old, I wasn't playing League every single day. I was mainly just like watching my brother, and I was doing like maybe like 2 to 3 games per 3 months. Like I was really never playing, so I was just enjoying my time watching my brother, and I was like, wow, this game looks really fun. Let me try it out, and so that's how I just started. Like I just started how to play League and develop my passion for the game. And I used to play support at that time. Also with a little bit of Vayne, which is why like Vayne has always been my main character. But
gotcha.
But yeah, so that's how it started.
That's awesome. Well, I can't help but laugh at the idea that someone's first experience with video games as a child of your age was League of Legends. Like, that's just so
I know,
funny.
right?
Like, you tell someone that, it's like, God, I feel so sorry for you. But no, I mean, hey, it was a blessing, obviously, for you.
Imagine you're playing a game and the person you're playing versus is a 6-year-old. I feel like right now I wouldn't really imagine it.
Yeah, just imagine.
I'd be like, wait, what?
Imagine you're in lane and you die because a 6-year-old snipes you with a Nami bubble. Like, that would be
exactly.
That would be crazy. But no, that's awesome. And then the next question I wanted to go to was, when did you? So you obviously talked about like 6 years old. You were playing very sparingly. At what point did you like maybe get your own setup, start running like? Maybe not maybe like start diving into rank play a little bit. Like when did that all start coming around? When did you get over the hump of just learning watching your brother play mostly?
Yeah, I used to also like I started to like just watch my brother, and then I had my MacBook that I was using my dad's MacBook, and I was just like playing with it with the trackpad, and
wow.
I still wasn't playing a lot. Like I was still in school, I was still in elementary school, and like and the beginning of high school because the school system here in French Canada is different. So I would like at the beginning of high school I was playing on MacBook, but I really started playing a lot. Like, I mean during COVID, I think, which was also where most of the players started playing a lot. Because you couldn't really do anything else, right? So I was just like queuing up some solo queue, queuing up some duo queues with friends, and that's where my ranking really like skyrocket. I feel like if you go see my account on OPGG, you're like, okay, this guy went from like silver to like diamond 1 in like 2 seasons. I swear it really was because I started playing a lot during COVID, and I just like found my role. I found like what I really wanted to do in the game, right? For example, before I was playing support, but then I was like, yeah, I feel like when I'm playing ADC, I'm just playing a bit better, and I mean, a lot better, and I can just like carry the games and climb with this. So I really started playing a lot during COVID.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You know, that's a nice thing to come out of the hellhole that was getting stuck inside for all those times, right? So that's good to think back to. But you know, stepping obviously because we've talked about you like first touched this game at 6. Obviously, you're now 19 currently. Still a youngin about to play a big split of NACL. You know, so I kind of want to ask you about how it was, especially once you started, you know, looking at playing competitively. You know, maybe getting team looks. How was it balancing? Going to, you know, dealing with like high school stuff, but being so high in like solo queue and all this, like how was that balance for you finding that? Because I think that's like a difficult thing for even like adults playing professional or like people older than you trying to juggle. How has that experience been for you?
Well, at first, I'm gonna be honest, I feel like I wasn't really, not that I wasn't interested in playing in competitive, but I just always thought being at that level was unreachable. Until like, because I was also in school, like my focus was not fully on League, and I feel like most of the time in competitive, you really need to put a lot of time and effort, which is super understandable. Like to be the best, you have to put all the time. But like I was still in school, I was still doing my own things. I was still like very concentrated. I always thought school was really important, so I was always putting all my 100 there. And then during the weekends, I would just hop on League and I would like have my fun on League, and then like it's really when I reached Challenger for the first time, I was like, okay, like maybe I can just like try to put on some more time. Then I reached 1000 LP. Then at the time where it was pretty hard to reach 1000 LP.
Yeah, very different time to right now.
Yeah. Then I reached 1000 LP, and then I reached rank 3 overall in the ladder, and then I was like, okay, like maybe I can actually like try to go through competitive, but I just didn't know how. And so that's where I was at the place called Sejep. It's after high school, but before university. That's like how our school system is here. And I was in Sejep, and Sejep is known to be super, like you have to work super hard. You have to put a lot of time. It's like it's a lot of like schooling. And like I'm sure like people in French Canada, like they know what I'm talking about by that. And it was definitely really hard to balance both. And like because I didn't really know how to go in competitive, I was like playing a little bit in houses, and that's when I met Pocus. Like really like meeting Pocus, he kind of like brought me in competitive, and because I just didn't know how to go in, right? I just didn't know where to start.
Right.
I feel like it's really hard to find this way, and especially in the NA ecosystem. And so I met Pocus. He showed me like a bit about the competitive environment. He showed me about he also is the one who brought me in tier 3 for the first time in OQs, and I was like, yeah, like I kind of have a passion for competing. And so, but like the thing is, like I need to find time to compete. I need to find time for the scrims. But in tier 3, I think like most of the scrims were like after 8 p.m. or they're like more after school, so I was a lot better with it. And I was pretty good at doing both at the same time. I'm a pretty concentrated person. I was also really good at school, so I didn't really mind it until the day where like, okay, I joined like more teams. I joined Respawn, I joined Lotus, like there's like more teams that I joined, and it was a little bit hard. So there's one gap year I took last year. I was like, okay, like let me like fully focus on League. Let me stream almost every day. Let me like really practice a lot, and so that's basically what we did. And then I got called by Near Airport to sub in for their games, which I'm forever grateful. I feel like they've like shown me a lot. I feel like they've made me learn a lot about my person and like who I am as a player. So I will be forever grateful to James and to all the staff on Near Airport. Um, and then I joined NRG, which is an incredible opportunity, I feel like, and it's something I couldn't like pass the opportunity. So I decided to take another break here from school and to really like lean towards my passion. So yeah, like I'm here with my gap year right now. I'm taking a little break, but I also like because I do think school is really important, and I definitely want to continue school in the near future. But I feel like right now with my age, and I feel like I have time to develop my passion, and I have time to really go forward and to achieve higher levels. So that's definitely like my like future, I feel like right now. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I agree. Like you have timed, and once you realize something you're passionate about, like that's something I definitely can resonate with, or I wouldn't be where I'm at if I didn't realize that, hey, this is what I want to do. Like, just go after it. So yeah, that is very admirable of you. But you know, when it comes to, I was talking a little bit with Cubby. And he was talking. I was telling him about how I was going to come interview you, and something he really thought would be interesting to ask and talk to you about is, it's one thing to be like really good at the game, and obviously there's a ton of people that are really great at solo queue, but that doesn't necessarily translate to, you know, being like a semi-pro, you know, looking to be a pro player. Like there's like more intangibles behind it. Is there anything like, are there any things that you would get up to outside of League, maybe in schooling that you were very passionate about, or any extracurriculars that you felt like was really applicable to developing you now as that player as well, not maybe outside of things League involved?
Yeah, okay, so I feel like, and I have always told this in every single like interviews I've done, or every time someone asks me like, hey, like, do you like only play League 24/7 because you're in the gap year? No. I think it's important putting some time and effort into the game if you want to go in competitive, but I think most importantly, having other passions and having like other things aside from League is the most important, especially with the mental, because like League is such a mental game, and I'm sure everyone knows, like in solo queue especially, and scrims, like it is very hard on the mental. So having other passions, for example, like I play lots of piano, I have a really big passion for music, I love walking outside. I always take at least 2 walks outside. I try to have at least 10,000 steps every day. I love running. I ran actually my half marathon not too long ago. I really have a lot more passion just hanging out with friends too. Like I think it's really important to have some things aside from League, because it will also help to have a positive mindset, just a strong mental, because people are like, hey, like Sushi, what do you do to be like positive even after 5 losses in a row? Like it's just important having other things that you just are passionate of. For example, I also like stream a lot, and I stream every day, and this is also what keeps me on like grinding the solo queue. Like I love listening to music while yapping to all the people coming over and just having such like good conversations. I think it definitely is really helpful to be being passionate about other things.
Oh yeah, that's great. I mean, I totally see that. Like, especially just like the like determination you have to do things like playing piano as an instrument. Like I grew up playing guitar. Like I know exactly what you're talking about with what that does to, like rewire your brain. You could apply that to League, but I'm really glad you spoke on the mental thing too, because I am hard pressed to find a player in the NACL that I think brings a bit more positive mental to playing than you do. So hey, listen, what you just heard is Sushi's telling you all to go touch grass if you want to be a pro player in between your solo queue grinds. That's the translation I'm getting here. All right, well, that's awesome. And then, so I kind of want to dive into now, like talking about tier 3 for you, and you know, maybe like up and coming until we got to Near Airport, right? Because you know, there are some people that might be familiar, like myself, about your tier 3 journey. I remember the first time I saw you play was for the BlackRock roster, playing through from OQs, and then you talked about the Lotus rosters. But I did notice, like, and this is me going a bit off the Leaguepedia, so feel free to correct me if I'm incorrect here. You did start, I guess, in their book, playing for CCG Futures as like the support, and I know you talked a bit about, you know, playing support, but you also maybe by that point already realized that you wanted to be like an AD carry player from your solo queue climb. Like, what was that like being a part of like the CCG system? As like a substitute in your like was that like your first foray into like a stabilized org in tier 3 and tier 2?
Yeah, I mean CCG was the first org that really like reached out to me to ask me like, hey, like would you be down for some trials? I was like, I mean I was really new to the scene. I didn't really know it, and also I didn't really watch a lot of competitive, so I was like really new to the scene. So I was like, yeah, of course, like let me like do the tryouts and see like what it is, and I'll just like go with the flow, right? And then they told me like, hey, like I think you really have great mechanics. I was a really like a new player in competitive. I feel like competitive and solo queue are two super different things in the game. So I didn't really like know if I had like if I had it for competitive, but they told me that like my mechanics were really great and they'd actually want me for support instead of ADC. I was like, I was like, oh, okay, like because I used to play support, but I was playing support at 7 years old.
Right.
Like, so I was like, oh, okay. I mean, like, let me try it out. So I supported Baz, who is one of my friends now, but I thought it was funny at the time, like to be a support, because my support champion pool I was playing enchanters only. Like I'm more like a range ADC type of person. I didn't like melee support. No, thank you.
Makes sense, yeah, right? Because AD carry player.
Yeah, but to be honest, like even though I was playing support, it was still a good step like on the doorway. I don't know if it's a thing we say in English, but it was like a good way to like step into the competitive part and just like have my nose like diving in a little bit. But I feel like my journey, like even though like CCG they gave me like a sub place and they gave me support role, I felt like my ADC and what I want to continue, I think I really like started like growing on BlackRock with Pocus being my support. So yeah, I definitely, but it was a really good way to enter the league and to get like my name out there, and yeah.
Yeah, it's cool to see, you know, like you step in and like you kind of follow the two journeys of the orgs, because like you got like CCG was only a tier 3 org at that time, like you were a fresh player into tier 3, I guess, and now looking at
I do think though for CCG Futures, I remember I think I didn't play full split. I think I played like 3 to 4 scrims, and I don't think we even played the start of the split, because I remember doing 2 to 3 scrims, but then I think BlackRock took me in as ADC, because I remember telling CCG like, I can try some scrims for support, but I really prefer playing ADC. That's my main role, and that's the role I know I'm better at.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, well, so I do now want to kind of shift into like the qualifiers talk. There's like a very prominent saying like in like kind of general sports leagues, at those top sports leagues, where it's like, welcome to the league moment. Like it's like something happens to you, or you watch like a play happen and you're like, oh, you go like, oh, I'm actually here, like I'm playing competitive. So I'm curious, you know, from those early days of like playing for BlackRock, maybe some of your time on Lotus as well, but was there a point when you were into these qualifiers now, like you've been scrimming, you're playing like a competitive qualifying tournament to go up a tier level, like is there like a series, a matchup, like a lane, anything that you can vividly remember being like, oh yeah, like this is real, like these are real players, like this is a real competitive scene, like this is a real tournament I'm in? Like, is there anything that popped up in your mind from those days?
I mean I remember where I was there in some of the matches. I mean I used to be like I used to be how do I say it? I remember I was in Florida playing my first match for BlackRock, and I was like kind of shaking. I was like, okay, like I was really stressed. I didn't really know what to expect, and so I was like really shaking, really stressed. But I remember there's that match we played with Polestar, I think, and I think it was a best of 5. We went to game 5. We also did it with Lotus, but I think we did it with BlackRock also. if I'm correct. And I was like, it was a banger match. It was really great, and I had just so much fun. Even though like at first I was like super stressed, but as soon as I hop on the rift, and I was like, okay, like I know where I'm at. I know my place here, and I was just really proud of myself for doing all of that.
That's a great moment of self-reflection. I'm glad like you have that moment where you realize this is a big series, like everything, but like I'm meant to be here. That sounds awesome to hear. Yeah, I think it was the I'm looking at it the on Lotus.
I remember one on Lotus too. Yeah.
Yeah.
The finals, I think it was in the promotion tournament for
Yes.
Lotus. It was also a really banger best of 5 that unfortunately we lost 2-3, but it was really, I had a lot of fun with Lotus as well.
Yeah, I felt like, in my opinion, like that's when you got onto that Lotus team. That's when I remember in my tier 3 knowledge mind at that point of like, all right, this Sushee guy, he's got it. That's I remember that series very vividly.
Yeah.
But you know, you talked about playing with Pockets, like he's such a big or like a big part of your career coming up. I kind of want to just ask you about looking back on those teams and then moving forward to the present, right? Because you talked about Pockets. Now, obviously, he's coaching AMI along, in the NACL with you. Those Lotus rosters were like your first foray with like Dardoch, who is obviously going to be one of the big staple junglers for CCG in the NACL. You played with Decoy on those BlackRock teams, like Decoy's in the NACL. What do you remember about interacting with some of these guys back then? Now knowing that all of you are all participating against each other in the NACL for this upcoming split.
I'm just really excited to like, I'm still like friends with all of them. I still like talk to all of them. So I'm really happy to play with them. I'm happy for them to be at that we are like on the same level and competing versus us. I think it's always fun to compete versus friends. Also, like, I still speak a lot to Pocus because like we're both French Canadians, so sometimes we see each other at some LAN events that we usually do. So yeah, it's really great to play around them and be in their present again.
That's great. And then one more guy I wanted to ask you a little more specifically about, because obviously you're an AD carry player. Like, I feel I'm an AD carry guy. Like, you always think about your support pairings, right? Like, guys you want to play with in the bottom lane. You've played a lot with Mixture over the years, right? So like you played Lotus, obviously was you two together in the bottom lane. Then later, last split for NACL, you guys got to play together with Dorado. Like, talk to me about maybe how was dueling, playing bottom lane with this guy on multiple teams, and like what works for your guys' synergy, because it shows just seeing how much you guys have played together that you obviously
I love playing with Mixture,
exactly.
No, I honestly with Mixture, I feel like we just think the same thing, especially for laning phase. I feel like we just like he didn't even need it. Like, I mean, of course, like in the bot lane for the synergy, we always have to like communicate all our CDs and everything, right? But I felt like just with Mixture, we were just understanding each other without even like saying anything, right? So that's just how it is with Mixture, and I just love to play with him. I think he has a really great attitude towards the game. And since we were also both kind of rookies at the time when we were playing on Lotus, I felt like we kind of developed each other and just learned a lot from each other also. So I definitely had a really fun time and a good time with Mixture. I think playing with someone that long also for tier 3 and tier 2 is not seen a lot, but I feel like most of the time people always change teams, so it's not like the most common thing. So it was definitely really fun playing for a longer period of time with Mix, and also I got to see him in IRL. I got to see him in the Sido Combine, and which was really fun. And I feel like it developed more our like it's just like it was just like more like of a friendship connection, and it developed us more into like the laning phase and how we thought. So it was really great playing with Mix.
That's what I wanted to hear, though. Yeah, is that like the telepathy was developing. That's what you need in your bot lane synergies. I like to hear it. Must have been so cool to see him, like, whenever you found out that he would be the Dorado support. That must have been pretty. Well, I guess yes.
Yeah, they kind of like brought me in because like they kept the whole roster, but I think Fatikan went on another team, so like
CCG,
they kind of So they kind of like brought me in. I was super happy to have this opportunity because I wasn't really on a promoted roster. I've never really like won a promotion tournament. So I definitely was like, oh, okay, like you guys want me to go instantly to tier 2, and I was very grateful for this opportunity that they gave me.
Yeah, so let's talk. I'm gonna go a little bit further forward here and maybe start talking about. You told me a little bit about the near airport time, and you mentioned the fact that obviously you haven't won a promotion tournament with the roster.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, like, because the best shot I thought you always had, and a lot of us thought us had, was that respawn roster, right? So I'm curious. When you signed on for that respawn roster, like, did you believe early on that like that was like, did you see this roster and go, oh, like we could make NACL, like I could make tier 2 with this roster? And like, talk to me about that whole process, because I do feel like that was like the big roster for you before the near airport substitution stuff started.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so I mean, obviously I feel like every player, whenever they choose their team, whenever they want to be on a team, they always want to be like with the best people. They always want to be like with people that knows that they can help you develop as a player. But I feel like my perspective on a roster, of course I want all of this, and I thought every single player on the Respawn server, not server, but roster, of course I thought they were all really good players, but I feel like I'm mostly a person that I love just concentrating on like my own gameplay and just like developing. I rarely like go see on the other lanes and go see like, oh, like how you're doing there in the top lane. I feel like I trust in everyone I play with, and I just really mostly want to develop myself as a player and just like playing the best I can do. So obviously like I enjoyed playing with all of the Respawn players, but I was really like concentrating on my own gameplay and just like trying to be the best version of myself. So yeah, like that was like, it's more like my point of view, especially in competitive tier 2 and tier 3, because in this time you change roster a lot. Like there's a lot of like everyone just every split, like they change roster, which I thought was kind of weird at first. When I entered competitive, I was like, okay, these guys don't play together for like more than, they play together for 3 months and then it's what, like you guys say goodbye? Like, I didn't really understand this at first, so I think it made me learn that every person have, it's like, of course at the end of the day it's a team and you have to connect with your team, but like every person is their own career and it's their own way to play the game. So I like to think like that. So I really like wanted to develop myself as a player and yeah, to just like concentrate on how I can get better. So that's pretty much how I view this point.
Okay, yeah, that's very insightful. So now we get to the point where I'm kind of curious about how things came together for this like near airport substitution, right? Because obviously,
yeah,
you don't promote with Respawn. It's like, it's kind of like a downswing. It's an unfortunate outcome. But then this like golden opportunity comes around. So like, what was it like to like get that offer to be a substitute, and also what was it like to like? I think I remember back at the time as well. I don't remember if it was after you had done the substitution or before, but there was the clips of like Double Lift talking about you on his stream as like praising you as like a very good up and coming player. Like how weird of a turnaround was that from the Respawn finish to like up until you subbed for near airport?
It was definitely like, I was like, I remember the first time I received a message from James, who was near airport's he was the manager for near airport.
Right.
I was in my bed. I was in Florida. I was in my bed. I was in vacation, and I see the. I just woke up to this message. I was like, wait, what the hell? Like, near airports want me to sub in for them for like what? I think like 3 matches. I was like, wait,
yeah,
what?
4, yeah.
I was like out of words. I was like, at first there was so many emotions. Like, I was very stressed because I used to like always watch these people in like the near airport people, like the Double If, Pobelter, Spica,
right.
TF Blade. I used to watch Pobelter and Double If a lot, and back in the days I used to also watch a lot of TF Blade stream. So I was like, I can't believe they want me to sub in for them, right? Like I was just like in a, like, how can I say, like in a denial? I don't know if that's a word.
Yeah.
But I was like, and at first, I'm not gonna lie. At first, I did say no.
Wow. Okay.
I remember. I remember. So I did say no, and because I was very stressed, and I was like, I'm gonna say no. Like that was my first like reply,
Right.
and then I spoke with my friends and I was like, yo, like the airport wants me to sub in for them. Like, what do I do? Like, I said no. I was so stressed because I'm just like that. I used to be like that. I used to be like, oh, like I'm very stressed. Like, let me not do that. Like, I would close some opportunities before I used to do that. But and so then like my friends were like, are you like kidding? Like, no way you said no. Like that can't. Like, why would you ever say no to this like golden opportunity, right? And I was like, yeah, okay, that's true. So let me get out of my comfort zone, and so then I reached back to James and I said like, hey, like actually like I'd be really down to like I actually change my idea, and I'd be really down to sub in for you guys. So if you guys still want me, and they like still were looking for people, so I was really happy about that. So it was definitely such a like weird and emotions moment that I really enjoyed my time on the airport, and it was really awesome playing with everyone.
Yeah, I'm really glad to hear that. Like, we everyone needs those friends, right? It's like I totally get like the first knee-jerk reaction. I do the same thing. It's like when I start getting stressed, it's like I can't. I just need.
Right.
I need my own space. Like I don't want to deal with this. It's stressing me. But like having those friends in your corner, they're just like.
Yeah.
It's like reality check, right? It's like, dude, do you understand what this moment could mean? It's like you'll be fine. That's awesome here. To ask more. I actually pulled the stats because you did play four games for ended up playing for Near Airport across them, and this was like this is where I would give you a bit. I want to give you some major praise because I pulled the stat line. You played those 4 games. You went 26 kills, 9 deaths, 36 assists.
Oh, really?
So yeah, like your
I didn't even know that.
your KDA across like those substitute stints was fantastic. Obviously, you guys end up winning 3 of the. Oh, that's actually across 5 games. Okay, 5 games.
Oh, okay.
So even better. You win 4 of the 5 games you play when you sub in for Near Airport. So I want to ask you about like, did you feel maybe like a flow state when you were playing on that team, or do you think it's part of the fact that what were like the comms like? Like how supported did you feel playing obviously with these people you talked about, you've watched, and former pro players like playing in the bottom lane with Bio, you know, having Pole Belter in the mid lane, Speak as your jungler. What do you remember of the actual like games you played with those guys on stage, I guess?
It was definitely a lot of pressure because I've never really had that. Or, because I never really like played in Tier 2 before, right? So it was also like my debut in Tier 2.
Yep.
So it was a lot of pressure, and there was even like more eyes watching. So I was like, okay, it's like a really good. It can either be really good for like my career, like for my path to Tier 2, or it can either be really bad because it was my debut, right?
Yep.
And having like all these eyes, all the viewers on their streams too, and it was definitely a very stressful moment to play these games, but I think I played a few scrims with them before, and just like just starting at the first scrim, I felt like the team was really like understanding. They were really willing to like help me improve as a player because they all knew also that I was still a rookie at that time. So I loved how understanding everyone was, especially Spica. Spica was helping me a lot with, because he also like was doing a lot of the macro in Near Airport. Like he was a really big shot caller.
Right.
So he definitely helped me a lot to improve on my bot lane macro point of view. So I really loved having them understanding and helping me in this.
That's awesome to hear. Yeah, and I mean that. To make a debut like that as a rookie, not just a rookie, but substituting on a team like that, yeah. Did you? Because I know you've talked about a bit during this interview alone, like that you've dealt with, you know, being stressed out about some of these big scenarios. Like you talked about the pressure after playing those 5 games, right? You win a lot of them. You have a good showing. Did that like mentally trigger something for you where you realized, okay, like, when I get stressed out, when I understand the pressure of these situations, I know now that I can like perform. Like, did something click in your mind after doing like playing with those guys, subbing in, like it's having success? Did something like switch in your mind where it's like, all right, now I know that I can like the pressure doesn't get to me?
I mean, it definitely is. It is helping whenever you play well, and like it's really good for how you think about how you play, right? Because it's good to have self-confidence also as a player playing in high-stakes game. But honestly, like every game I was playing, and also every game I will be playing in the future, like I always tell myself, hey, like anything that happens, as long as like as long as I'm happy with how I play, and as long as I'm proud of how like I do, I'm like everything's gonna be fine. Like, even if like you will end up losing games, you will win games. Like you can't really change how like you can't really like change the present. You can change the past. All you can do is try to improve as a player and play even better. So like even if you lose a game, like you won't die. Like it.
Sure.
Like it happens. Like as long as I'm happy with how I'm playing, it's like I'm happy with everything, right? So it definitely was like helping and boosting my confidence a lot. But like I'm just gonna go in and I'm just gonna see like even if it goes bad, at the end of the day, like I'm home with like a family that supports me a lot, and I have all my friends are super supportive as well. So like it won't break me as a person. Like it's
Right.
like yeah, we're so healthy, and exactly like, that's just what I say whenever I play. Also like I also play a lot better when I'm playing on on pressure, so it is definitely helping for me in that situation.
That's two great traits. So, but feel like you play the best when you get the
Mhm.
brightest lights, and then I again I'm glad to hear that you've got the great support system around you to
Yeah,
prop up your dream and your passion here. So
yeah.
speaking on that support system, I did want to ask, before we talk about maybe Dorado a bit, like what the impact the Sido Combine had, like Parth's impact on not just obviously your
Oh yes.
career, being able to like
Mhm.
everything Sido provided to you, but like talk to me about mindset and approach to the game, like being able to be a part of like hearing from so many of those great voices in the Combine, and then being able to go out to LA and like see
Mhm.
Parth.
Oh
How much of
yeah.
an effect do you think Sido had on the road forward for you after that Combine?
It was definitely like I really enjoyed my time in Saito. I think it was definitely the craziest experience that ever happened to me in like my journey. I feel like just like thinking about going to Los Angeles for I mean I went to two Saito combines,
Hmm.
which is like in total about 2 weeks, right? And just like thinking that League brought me there was just crazy to think about. It was it was very confident boosting, and also like wow, like maybe I can go even further in this game and learn even more. And also like being I remember inside we met Bippo, we also met Huhi, we met a lot of great players, and they helped us a lot, they coached us too. I remember also Impact coaching us during the Sido, so it was definitely a really crazy experience, and I will never forget these experience and meeting all of them and everyone of the players too. It was awesome.
So talking on like the like Los Angeles part, because I think it's a fun thing to ask you about. Like I grew up in Southern California, not LA,
Oh
but I grew up
wow.
in Southern California, and now I'm in Los Angeles. So like I've had a
Oh
very
wow.
a very bubbled existence of like nice weather, cool beaches and stuff. But like, what was it like for you? Obviously, being from the French Canadian area, coming out to
Yeah.
Los Angeles, was that like your first time in Los Angeles? Or even if it wasn't, like
Uh-huh.
what did you think about like this city compared to where you've grown up? Because I feel like it's got to be such a stark contrast compared to what you're used to.
It is definitely different. Yeah.
Even different than like
Um
Florida too, right? It had some similarities,
yeah.
but definitely different.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm in Quebec right now, which like where it's minus 30 degrees Celsius, with all the
Ugh.
snow.
Yep.
It's very cold. But ever since I was super younger, like living in LA, just being in California was always like part of my dreams, right? I always wanted to go in LA. It wasn't my first time. I think I visited LA twice before the Saito Combine,
Hmm.
and it's still like one of my favorite places on earth. I know it's kind of like weird to say because like people are like, oh, you don't like I really like the Maldives, or I like just like crazy spots. But
Hmm.
no, LA has always been one of the city that I've always wanted to live in, and always was my dream. Just like the perfect weather. So just being invited for the Saito to go to LA and and just having this experience to eat at LA restaurants. And because Saito was like it was a lot of grinding, a lot of coaching, but at the end of the day, like we would all go to the restaurant together and just like get to learn everyone and just have a um to know like with who you're playing online, because you're always playing online with people and you don't really meet them as a person, you just always play with them as players. And I think just meeting everyone was probably the best part of the LA experience. And just doing 6 hours of flight to go there and flying alone for the first time, because I never flew alone before.
Wow, yeah.
But yeah, it was a crazy experience.
That's, you know what, that's cool to hear how much you appreciate Los Angeles. I don't know if everybody will hold the same opinion as you of LA, but I do see the very, there are some very big pluses to Los Angeles for sure. And hey,
I mean, every places have their pluses and the bad parts, the bad things too. But I think just like the weather and the beaches and everything like so cool.
Yeah.
Coming from a person that lives in a place where it's so cold and all the snow for like 8 months in a row.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm glad you really cherish the Saito Combine for the weather alone. I want to ask you now to kind of talk about looking back on your last split right with Dorado, because I do think it's that team was very fun and interesting, at least from like my outsider observer's perspective. And that split, you guys, like during the normal split, you guys finished 6th, and then you guys really made like a really big push in playoffs to like threaten some of those bigger teams, obviously losing another unfortunate game 5 this time to Supernova. But talk to me about how you guys how you felt you and maybe the team were able to develop over that split to really become what I thought was your most threatening form in that playoff run, even if it does come up tragically.
I felt like during just like spending more time with the team and spending more time scrimming and just learning all from each other, we developed also like a friend, like, because I feel like in a team environment you can't say like, oh, you're playing with your top player, that's like it's only for the work, right? You have to say like you have to develop some time of connection, of some kind of friendship. And I feel like just spending more time and scrimming more together have developed like more synergy. And I think like during the normal season, I mean, I definitely don't think we played at our, like, I mean, of course, like we all play our best, but like we were struggling a lot more than that we should, that we that we should, I guess. But yeah, during the playoffs, it was very some intense game. I remember people would think of us more like the underdogs or like the like lower part, but like turning this point versus the Maryville, and then, or not the Maryville, but the Dark Zero, and then just playing versus other really good team and making some good plays and some good games, I think kind of made people maybe like change a bit their perspective. But this is really like what happened with lots of scrim and lots of time just staying in Discord call together and just creating this type of connection with everyone. Because I remember, like, even we would scrim with the team, but at the end of the scrim, like, everyone would still, like, stay in the call and talk to each other and not, like, only think about the scrims and only think about, like, work and yeah, just, like, developing this type of connection can change how teams play together and all the synergy.
Very, very insightful. You know, speaking, I guess I kind of want to segue this into now talking about maybe trying to put you in, like, turn you from Sushee the NACL player into like Sushee the NACL fan for a second here, because I'm curious if there's like, are there players in the league like coming into this next split that like, it doesn't even have to be like an AD carry, right? Like you want to like, or you like model their game out, but are there just players in NACL this split that like you're excited to watch, excited to compete against, because like you're fans of them? Like, you know, obviously Ariana's still here on a different team after playing with them on Dorado. Like Shochi, you've played with now a couple of times. Talk to me about like Sushee the NACL fan. Like, what's that perspective necessarily?
I mean, honestly, like, there's a lot of, like, I speak to a lot of the NACL people. I'm also friends with a lot of them. Like Ariana, I'm always super excited to see him play. Samikin, I've been friends with Sammy for I think like the beginning of all my journey in competitive. So of course I want to see Sammy win. I'm also really happy that they're playing together.
Yeah,
So,
it's gonna be fun, right? Okay,
but yeah,
Sushee, a
there's
Blue Otter fan is what I'm hearing a little bit, unless you're
yeah,
playing
well,
them.
literally. Yeah, yeah, I love Blue Otter. I love the Conviction team. I love their managers too. Because I think like in a team, it's not only the players. Like you kind of have to see all around, and I think the managers, they put in a lot of work that I feel like there might not be recognized enough. I feel like, but yeah, no, it's I mean, I can also think of other players like Fiji. Like I'm happy for Fiji to have his chance to playing in this split. I talk with Fiji a lot, especially recently. So I'm definitely excited to play versus all of these players, and it's always fun playing versus friends and just like having this these games versus. I love it.
I'm starting to think like you got given a script of like my favorite players with the way because it's
Wait, really?
well. So I love Sammy because when I was only just a tier
Who
3
doesn't?
caster. Well, yeah, of course, who doesn't, right? But
Who doesn't?
all the way back like it was a Risen Champions League split, like one of the only few uncapped splits they did. There were like 6 teams, and Sammy was in that tournament as his team was Samikin Fan Club. And it was him, Devin, I think it was Solidified, it was Low Jazz was his jungler, like, and this team we had no knowledge of them as players. They weren't that knowledgeable back then, and they nearly took down like a CCG, one of those CCG teams you actually might have been playing on, funnily enough, in that Risen tournament, and we were all like, wow, this Samika guy's really great. And then obviously he runs through it with Aporia, he wins that OQ, and then he gets the ground. So I've been a fan of Samika forever. I love Sammy as well. And then funnily enough, Fiji is who I'm not going to confirm it. Fiji's one of the people I will also be interviewing because I also love Fiji.
Okay.
I love his playstyle as a top laner. So I was like,
his attitude is really good too, and just like his personality. I feel like in NACL, like there's the player, but there's also the personalities that's really important, which is also like the thing with Sammy. Like he has an awesome personality. Like every time he streams, he's just always joyful and it's really like it. I think both goes together. Like most of the best players also have a really good personality, I feel like, so it just goes well together, I think.
Yeah, I totally agree. So I'll make sure when I interview him to tell him whether you're a fan. You're a fan of. I'm sure he knows, but I'll mention it again for sure. So now I do want to talk about present day NRG, right? So
yes.
Obviously, with everything we've talked about, like you've known Parth for a bit with Sido, you've played with Spica before on the near airport when you subbed in. What was like? How did this come together? How was this like? You talked about how the near airport you felt like very pressure. You originally said no. Was this a similar situation when you saw this roster? Or was this just like kind of a dream? Say yes, I want to be a part of this project and take this bigger step with NRG.
Honestly, after playing with Near Airport, not like all of the, like, not like the more stressful opportunities, but I feel like now I can just like, I'm not the person I was before Near Airport. Now I just like go forward with everything and I just get out of my comfort zone. It's definitely, I feel like energy is kind of different than the other orgs I joined. I feel like it's really it's like I signed for a longer time too. It's like there's a lot of like commitment to this org, and it's really about developing. I feel like, which is perfect for me. I feel like the more development, the better, I think. And yeah, it's just like I remember I was in the Sido Combine and Parth was speaking to me, and I really like how Parth is taking like every single person that went to the Sido Combine. I know Parth like really cares for each of the players going there, and he really like wants best for everyone. So I remember him saying that like he was trying to find I guess before Energy was Dark Zero, right? And so we were talking with like Dark Zero, and Parth was like, yeah, like I'd really like want you to be like you're like my main angle for the Dark Zero roster, and it would be a lot of development. And I remember him saying me this, and I was like, oh, like I would be super down. Like Parth has worked with TSM, like he has worked with a lot of teams, and the management is all like basically tier 1 level, right?
Mhm.
And so just like having all of this management around the team is just a really insane opportunity. And now like the team calling themselves NRG, I was like, it all happened super fast because
Yeah, I'm sure.
before it wasn't like that, and like like NRG played like in a really high level before, and that's a bit like what they're angling themselves this year too, and with the development. And yeah, it was just a really insane opportunity that I really couldn't say no. It's if I want to go further in my career, I have to take some risk, and I have to get out of my comfort zone and just go with it, just go for it, and play my best, and whatever happens, well then it'll happen. And I'm just playing the present, right? So
Right.
yes, it's like I really like want to like I want to look at the future, but it's like at the same time I'm just the type of person that really I just think about the present, and I concentrate on every single game, and just like try to play my best.
Uh, That's a good approach. I mean, it's definitely gonna be a long road, right? I know NACL kicked off a little later compared to normal tier 1 leagues, but we're only in March, and a lot can happen by the time we get to late August. So that's a good approach to have. I want to deep dive a little bit and talk about some of these. Some of the relationships with your new teammates. The first one might be kind of obvious, and you don't have to give away any strats, but the people are very intrigued. Obviously, they talked a lot about Mr. Spica switching to support here. Without don't tell me the comps you guys want to run, like anything like that, but just talk to me about how it's been scrimming with him, like him playing as a support. Because you talked to me about earlier, he's a very macro-minded player. Do you feel like that's already translated pretty easily for him into that support role?
It is, and also like, I mean, at first I was a bit like, wait, Spica plays support. I didn't even know that. And when Par talked to me about this, I was like, oh, I mean, I know Spica. Like, he's had a lot of experience. I definitely think he brings a lot to the team with his macro side. He brings a lot with his attitude. He has a really good mental, and he always have this like. He just brings a smile to everyone on the team every time he comes, right? And so yeah, it's been really fun scrimming. I think we're both learning from each other as well, especially for laning phase, where like the main thing as a role swap, of course, like you have already the macro side, but you don't necessarily have the laning perspective.
Right.
I think we've both been learning from each other, and we've been working really hard in the past few months in the scrims. So I definitely think it's been fine. It's been really nice, and yeah, like it's not different than other supports just because there's a role swap, right? Like it's still like we're learning from each other, and it's been a really great time. And he's still taking a lot of space in the comms, because it's like also really similar than jungle, where like jungle and supports usually like take a lot of place in communication, so it's not that different than playing with him when he was on near airport.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. It's like from a comms perspective, and maybe like I don't know, like setups for like big objectives, like jungler and support.
Exactly, like
it's pretty similar.
They're connected.
Yeah, for sure. So it's good to hear. I'm just glad to hear like you guys have been working for months, and like the laning is a focus, because that's definitely. It's an obvious statement to make, but that's the part that you just said, that a jungler really is going to have to work on switching up. So that'll be fun. I mean, yeah, this is the Sushee and Spica bottom lane is definitely got a lot of people talking. But I do also, you are now going into like, I would say your true sophomore split. I know you subbed in for near airport, but the Dorado split was like a rookie split for me. And then now you're a sophomore. Your mid laner, Fly Mini, I feel like you guys have a lot of similar parallels, right? In the fact that you're both kind of sophomores coming into this split. You're coming in from, like, this is a big step up with everything you're talking about. How's it been, like, stepping into all this stuff with NRG with a player like Fly Mini? Do you see the similar parallels? Do you guys feel like you're in a similar boat with everything going on around you?
I mean, I definitely do. I remember I was also, like, he was also in CCG Futures, so it wasn't like my first time playing with him. I'm also really good friends with Mini. Like we're kind of in a same friend group on Discord, which we always like play Flex together. And yeah, I already really knew Mini a long time before, so I was really excited to play with him. I think we both like have a similar path, and what I love a lot. Okay, it's kind of like sound like glazing a lot, but what I love about Five Mini is that he just brings this positive, and I don't think I've ever seen Five Mini mad, like because being mad, it happens to everyone, like to
Oh
every
yeah.
competitive players. Like there's some situations where like it's very frustrating, but I have never seen him like mad. Like he's always there, positive, and if like something bad happens, he's like, cheers, like not like that, but he's never really mad, and that's why I really like look up to him to that, because just having this good mental helps so much as a player in competitive. And like every game is one game, and even if in a best of 3 you lose one game, I just know that Five Mini will never like be tilted from the game before. It's like a new game. He's like mental reset, and that's like what I like about him. So, but I definitely do think we have a similar path into where we are at right now in our journey.
Yeah, I think you guys are bonded by journey. It's cool to hear you guys are bonded in that friendship from all that time ago. That's cool. All I'm hearing is that the NRG mental is in a good space if you two are on the team, yeah, for sure. So
Yeah.
we're talking about teammates, talking about friends. I do want to get your gauge on, once again, looking at all of the NACL. Are there players that you are excited to face off against? Are there AD carries that you're very excited? Like, 'cause I'm thinking here, like you and Mobility were both like big Sido guys. Like I think the league is set up very well for. I'm very excited for you and Mobility to go head to head. But are there other players, maybe not even just in your role, that you're excited to play against this split that you want to talk about?
Definitely Mobility. I love playing versus him. I like playing versus Cody-san too. I remember I used to play a lot of solo queues, and he was always playing versus me in solo queue.
Okay,
always
alright.
like, yeah. But I remember, yeah. So I wanted to play versus Cody-san. Mobility. There's also Aljun, Dark. I love to play versus them. But yeah, that's basically like I'm sure there's others, but
That's a good
I
list.
can't think of. Yeah,
Yeah, okay,
definitely Aljun too.
Okay, all right. So I got you. Aljun Dardux, the CCG NRG matchup will be a fun one. I'll keep that.
Yeah.
I'll keep that in mind. And then talking. So I want to talk about for just a second before we're almost done. I promise. But I do want to talk about when it comes to looking above a little bit, right? Like as an AD carry player. I guess how would you describe your style, in the sense that are there pro players, maybe not even like, don't have to be current ones, it could be any region, past ones as well, that you look at as I want to play like this kind of style, like I want to blend this player style in to my sort of play.
Yeah.
Like who are those names that have always been with you for a bit?
I mean, like in terms of pro player, of course, Viper and Guma, I've always looked up to them. I feel like my playstyle, I kind of want to build like my own kind of playstyle. I feel like it's more so I play a lot on the knife's edge. I feel like as a player, for example, I do try to bait out as much as I can. Like I really play on my maximum potential and on my limits. Sometimes it might not work. But yeah, but like I really like I feel like it's more in my like player identity. I play hyper carries. I play lots of Vayne, right? Which I don't. We'll see if we play some Vayne, but like it's more so like on the hyper carry side, and just playing on the knife's edge. I feel like that's my strengths as a player, and very infighting type of player too. I've learned a lot about teamfight from Ido, who's DSG's coach.
Love Ido. Yep.
Helped a lot.
I'm a big fan of Ido too. You're just listing off all the people I'm a fan of. I think this is a good thing to be linked with. No, I very much so believe. I'm a huge fan of you. Obviously, I was very high on Sajed as well. I think you and him, when it comes to team fighting, funnily enough, Vayne I feel like is also the champion that links you two.
Yeah.
Especially you guys play like, you understand that line you can play. You cross it incorrectly sometimes. It happens to everybody, but I think like the way you guys approach team fights is very distinct to me. So in your fight style. So that's my That's my 10 cents I wanted to throw out there. But obviously, you talked about living in the present a lot, but I do want to look a bit into the future and just talk about like expectations for yourself as a player. Like what are you looking to maybe develop this year into making better? What are you looking to do with NRG in the NACL?
Yeah.
Like what are we setting up as like I want these things accomplished when we get to September and all the NACL is over?
I mean, I definitely have a lot of challenges as a player. Like everyone has their strengths and their not like liabilities, like the plus and minus. And I feel like with NRG, like they have so much development. They have lots of coaches, lots of people that can help me with all of my minuses as a player and all the things I'm yeah, like just helping me for my challenges. I also, I mean, for sure, like in the second split in summer, like this is probably the most, well, not the most important, but the one that like up in the summer, like we need to look back. Like once we're in the summer, we need to look back and say like, oh, okay, I really improved as a player that from the last split, right? So that's like our main goal, I think, especially with NRG. I think what NRG wants for their players is the first split is really like development style. For example, like we all learn from ourselves, we all practice and keep on improving. And once we come to the summer split, we really like want to be at our 100% and try to achieve as much as we can. Of course, like I'd be lying if I say like, oh, like I'd be lying if I'd say like, oh, we're not gonna want to be playing the promotion tournament. Of course, we want to play in promotion and try to win everything. That's what everyone wants to do, and that's what every player should have in their mindset, especially for competing at that level. But yeah, just developing me and just like reaching all of my, just like reaching the high potentials I have as a player, because I definitely think right now with all the development we have, it's going to help a lot. And in summer, I really hope to be everyone at 100% on our team and just go even more further in the scene.
That's awesome to hear. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that the development for NRG is such a staple, because I know there is direct promotion into the LCS now, but I do truly my view of the NACL is that its priority should always be development. Right?
Developing, yeah.
So that's awesome here for NRG. All right, my last question before we have you show off some cool mechanical things what has been the most, if I had to give you, like, you have one song you could play on piano and it's the last time you could touch the piano for the rest of your life, like what's the song? Like I'm sure you've played hundreds of songs, so you got one pick, Sushee.
So I play mostly pop songs, or not pop, but like more recent. I'm not that big on classical. I love to play Interstellar, some movie songs I love to play.
That's a good pick. Okay.
I also used to play a lot of, well, not use, I still play, but I play lots of Billie Eilish songs, and like Pirates of Caribbean, I like to.
Okay.
I like movie songs, I like them. I think La La Land is a really good song I can play too on the piano.
That's awesome.
And yeah, I think Interstellar is my favorite one.
That's a good pick. I mean, once you said it, started playing in my head, so I know. I think
sometimes I play it on stream, sometimes I do.
There you go. That's a good plug. You guys have to make sure to go watch Sushee streams, not just for the insane AD carry gameplay, for the piano as well. So I'll make sure to have to catch one as well. Sushee, we'll end this part here. Who knows how I'm going to edit this, but we're now going to stop the Driscoll interview. Thank you, my friend, and we'll have you teach me how to play AD carry a bit better, I guess is what I'll say. So stay tuned, everyone.